Hello and welcome to Finding the Joy in the Journey. I'm Gina Krupka, and I am blessed to be here on this beautiful network, New Thought Media Network, to bring good news into the world. And today you are here with me for Finding the Joy in the Journey. And we have a very special guest, and it is going to be a wonderful, informing, and uplifting, as we hope they all are, since it's all about joy. This show is about finding different ways to experience more joy in your life now. There's so much out there in the world. There's so many distractions, and it is so easy to get caught up in the stuff. It's not the truth of who we are. In truth, joy is part of who we are. It is divine nature, therefore it is my nature, and that of each one. Love, peace, harmony. It's never found out there. And when it comes to joy, it's one of those things that I look at it as we're in a society of bigger, better, faster, more. And it always seems like what I consider destination happiness. So when I achieve this goal, well, then I'll be happy. When I have the right job, when I'm in the right place, when I'm at the right whatever it may be, when I lose the weight, when I have enough money, when I take that vacation, then I'll be happy. The truth is, it's not about any of those things. Joy is inherent. And too often we're waiting for the next thing, which may make us happy temporarily, but it's not the truth of our nature. Joy is available at any time. And we talk about ways to cultivate that. And today is going to be a wonderful, wonderful opportunity to do that. My guest today is Bonnie Gonzalez, and she is just a light. Many of you will recognize her from the Grief Doula, that she has her own show on this network as well. But just so you know a little bit more about her, she is a gift. She has been a registered nurse for over 40 years. She's also a licensed practitioner, and she's a life coach. She's a licensed soul collage facilitator, which is very exciting, and we're going to talk more about that, and a doula for grief. She has spent years in hospice care, palliative care nursing, and she has a compassion for people and life in a way very few exhibit. She has a light within her that shines, and you can see it through everything she says. Even through the phone, you can feel that she is just radiating that love. And your doula for grief gives her the opportunity and the platform to talk about what she's done for years, which is bringing compassion, including self-compassion, into the lives of people so that we get to experience more joy. So I am thrilled to bring her out. Just so you know, she spent her life, she spent over 25 years, in San Francisco area. And after growing up on the East Coast, and now she is traveling the world. And I can't wait for her to tell you about that too. She is now in Mexico with her beloved. And I am so, it's so wonderful, the story itself. So I could talk about you forever, but I'd rather you do it. So welcome, Bonnie. Welcome to
thank you.
The joy in the journey. There's so much from the moment we spoke for the first time that I was just so excited about.
Oh gosh, Gina. Well, first of all, happy Thursday. And I wish there was another word I could find other than honored, but I am honored. I am delighted to be here with you. You are that light for me. We talked a little bit about light, but you definitely are that light for me.
We got on the phone and we chatted from the moment we spoke for the first time. There was that connection. We definitely just shared.
Yeah,
and I can't wait for people to find out more about you. Because on your show, when you're hosting, you're talking about everyone else. It's so wonderful that there's this opportunity for people to find out about you.
Yes.
First of all, tell them how you got to Mexico.
Oh God, I came via plane, Gina. No, no, I was. Well, my husband and I, we were living in the San Francisco Bay Area back in 2020. The pandemic, it's like boom, the pandemic hits, and suddenly we had a beautiful house that we were renting. It was a 5-bedroom house. We did a little Airbnb. I just love having people around, and it was just beautiful. I was living just a beautiful life. And the landlord decided he wanted to sell the house. And of course, he said, "Oh, but I'll offer to you, I will offer the house to you first." And at that time, only $1 million. And it's like, well, I'm a mature gal. Do I want that kind of debt over my head? So, and Gina, I don't even use this language normally. But it was just something in the middle of the night. It said, "Yes, Bonnie, move. Just give everything away. Move to Ireland and be with your daughter, Kelly." And I said it was the voice of God. And I have never had that happen. But that voice was so convincing. I didn't doubt it. I got this feeling of excitement inside. And I was so excited. I get back in bed and I tell my husband, I say to him, honey, how would you like to move to Ireland? And he said, "Oh, yeah, baby, let's do it." Oh, my goodness, Gina. We gave everything away, not even like selling. We just parted with so many things. And that's another, hey, I could do your doula for grief on that. Just that alone, watching people taking
a lot of circulation.
Yes. But you know what? Giving everything away, there was a moment, of course, when I felt deep sadness about some of the treasures that I really loved and adored. But it was something about knowing that my treasures were in the hands of people that I loved or cared about. So it helped ease it. It helped to ease that pain a little. So we did that. We gave everything away, flew to Ireland, and we were there almost a year. And my sister got sick, so I had to come back to the US to really help her through a really difficult time. So we came back to the US, helped her through a difficult time, headed back to Europe. And but I started thinking, wow, if something happens with my sister, if there's an emergency, I wouldn't be very close. It's like 13-hour plane ride and different things. So I just thought, maybe we'll just try Mexico. And my husband, of course, was saying, yes, we should try Mexico. So that's how we got to Mexico. And so we're here for now, and some other plans for other countries along the way. But oh my gosh, Gina, just being in Ireland, words fail me. It is just so lush and beautiful and green, and the people are true treasures, joys of the heart. They treated my husband and I like we were family. It was not uncommon for people to say to us, "How long are you home for? How long are you home for?" And it's like, wow, I really did feel at home. So I would go back in a heartbeat to Ireland. My daughter's still there, my husband and my little granddaughter. So that has been just to be a global citizen right now, or digital nomad, is truly exciting. Truly.
And to actually feel that and be in that mode of what a gift to know that, wherever you are is home.
Oh,
That's oneness. That's what we practice. That's what we speak about. But that's what we really are teaching. And so few people actually get to experience that on that level. And what a gift to have, a husband that's like, okay, let's go. Let's go.
He's an adventurous spirit. He doesn't say no to too many things. But I will share one thing, and I have shared this before, and I apologize if you've heard it before. But in Ireland, I never felt so loved up. So just talk about oneness and connection. I felt truly connected with the Irish people. My husband and I were in coffee shop. And my husband basically speaks Spanish, so we were speaking Spanglish. I do as best I can with Spanish, but I call it Spanglish. And these two cute little Irish ladies come over. They're just cute. They come tootling over to our table, really older, and they say to us, "Welcome to Ireland. Welcome to Ireland. I want you to know Black Lives Matter here. Black Lives Matter big time. Know that you're safe and welcome to Ireland." Oh, Gina, I could have just put my head on the table. I could have just wept in that moment. Never have I had anyone that wanted me to feel comforted and at peace around color and race. So I just want to share that to say that that is possible. That is possible.
Yes.
That's what that was all about.
As you told the story, one of the things that really came to me clearly is there's a passage in the Bible that talks about, and I can't think of the name of it, but there's someone that was looking for a new town and, stopped and asked, what are the people like in there? And they asked, well, what were they like where you came from? And she said, well, they were awful. They were backstabbing and they were conniving and they were all out to get you. And that's why I left, because I couldn't take it anymore. And the person at the gate said, I'm pretty sure that that's what you're going to find in here as well.
Oh, wow.
So they said, okay, then. And they kept going. And they just passed by the town completely.
Wow.
And then the next person comes and they said, so what are the people like here? And he said, well, what were they like where you came from? And he said, oh, they were wonderful people. They were loving, they were compassionate. I enjoyed every bit of it. I was just looking to see what else is out there, and I wanted to travel, and I figured I would, see what else there is. And the person at the gate said, I'm sure you'll find the same waiting for you here.
Oh, Gina,
so what we bring to the world is what we find in the world. And what we seek or what we fear, what we're paying attention to, is the consciousness we're attracting. So you don't know if that same place in that same town with different people may not have been the same connection. So I just offer you that, know that your consciousness attracts.
Well, yeah. And someone said to me, what is it? I always say like attracts like.
Yes.
And this person said, yes, but light attracts light.
Yes.
And I've had quite a few people ask me about racism in Ireland, racism here in Mexico. And here's what I have to say. That's not what I'm looking for. I just don't. It's not in my consciousness.
And it wasn't in your experience because it wasn't in your consciousness.
Exactly. So just as you said, what it is that you are holding is what you attract. And I just love the beauty of people. Oh my gosh, Gina, I love listening to people and their stories. Of course, I love talking, but I just love people. And that's what I look for. That's what I look for in people. And that's what we've attracted here as well.
And that's one of the beautiful things about this network, too, is that we are in a place that this whole network is positive.
Yes.
And every person in it, the whole point of it is to give away the good news. The whole purpose of this New Thought Media Network is to bring more joy, to experience more peace, to celebrate the truth. And that's what's better than that.
Nothing. That's what's called New Thought Media Network. It is time for a new thought. It is time.
Isn't that
for
amazing?
New thinking. It's just the perfect name, and we're the perfect people to help that happen.
Absolutely. So I want to make sure people know that we are live and that they can ask any questions, or we would love to hear comments, anything at all that you would like to bring forward. Please remember that we are here to do that. And I will make sure that by the end of the hour, I'm going to make sure you have, Bonnie's information, her email and her, you've got two different websites.
Yes.
Your doulaforgrief.com and BonnieGonzalez.com. And this is your email if people are
Yes.
looking for it. And I always encourage them if you want that and you're thinking, but I'm on my phone and I'm not next to a pen, just take a screenshot. That way you always
Ooh.
have it wherever you are. So
Yeah.
just, we are here to talk about the joy in the journey.
Mm, yeah.
And I wanted to. There's so much things. So much I wanted to get to. But I
Yeah.
do want to talk about your doula for grief, your show.
Oh, yes.
I
Oh,
I think that I personally think that grief, and it's funny because here I am with the topic of joy, but the most important topic, or one of, if not the most important topic that anyone could speak about, is grief, because
mhm.
it can make or break our experience in life.
Yes. Yes. Gina, I hold to the premise that grieving well leads to living well. If you are in a situation that you're avoiding discomfort, you're avoiding feelings that are painful, you're avoiding that, but you're also blocking just what you talked about, joy, happiness, that I'll go ahead and I'll speak in the I. Impossible for me to truly enjoy life without having experienced deep pain and sadness. We can truly hold both. And grief can really, if when you lean into it, can really move you through those issues that prevents the joy. It can move you to the other side of that.
It is so important that we remember that everyone experiences grief.
Mm-hmm.
It is the least spoken about, and there's somehow some denotation for many people that means you're not strong. If you can express and speak about grief, you're stronger than anyone. If you
Mm.
look at in history, the natural, and I'm not saying it's like this now, and I'm not saying there's no roles cut out. I don't mean it that way. But throughout history, women were known as the ones that would take care of all kinds of things. Like women were tended to be the people that emotionally we were the ones that took care of everything from childbirth birth to when someone transitions. Women's
Yes.
female role was the one that would deal with the emotional side of things, and the men would go to work. They'd do the physical stuff, but that
Yes.
emotional stuff, that is the work, that is the experience of
Mm-hmm.
life itself.
Yes.
And if you
Yes.
are able to be with someone, as they're transitioning, or you walk through that dark valley with someone, that is strength. It's
Mm-hmm.
not pretending it's not there, it's not that it never existed. It is
Yes.
being able to be in the midst of the storm and
Mm-hmm.
acknowledge that it's tough.
That it is. And Gina, I want to say, talking about grief, just talking about, first of all, grief is caused by loss, and you touched on that. Grief is caused by loss. Loss is what we experience, and it's grief is what we feel. And remembering that we suffer a midget of losses in so many ways. And so there are times that people are truly in grief and not realizing that they are grieving that their parents, say, were divorced, or that there was that job that just got away that they didn't get or they lost. That there are losses that lead us to grief. And grief is that human experience. It is just the human experience. And I must say, part of the pandemic, I think it's Michael Beckwith or someone coins it as uh, the corona bonus. The corona bonus is what has that is now shining the light on grief,
Yeah.
realizing people lost their lifestyles, their ways of being, their ways of connecting, their ways of just moving in the world. And
That's their
so,
personal identity, even.
yes,
You
yes,
were your job and you couldn't go to your job, then who are you? If
exactly,
you were
exactly.
someone's daughter, if you were someone's, coworker, if you were whatever you labeled yourself, and now you weren't that anymore,
Oh,
then what are you?
yes, yes. So moving through that, and I wanted to talk about just a second, just talk about this whole. I guess there's movement ideas around toxic positivity. Have you have
I
you
I've never heard that term. I actually I am one of those people that they've considered Pollyanna. I have definitely been, and it's not, there's a difference
it
between
did?
always having to be positive,
Yes.
and at the same time there's also a difference between being, because this isn't, we're not talking about spiritual bypass. you
No,
know
none of
like
that.
we often in
Mhm.
our movement talk about all is well. Now when the experience in this moment isn't, we have to honor ourselves in understanding that. It doesn't
Mhm.
mean we don't know truth. It doesn't mean that I know I'm made of joy. I know I am that stardust.
Yes.
That's why I choose this background, because we are that
Yes.
stardust. I can
Mhm.
know that but not feel that.
Right. I had a life coach when I was going through my coaching training. That if I would say something to the effect, "I'm really feeling down. I'm really feeling sad today," he would say, "Now remember, a part of you is feeling that. That's not the whole total sum of you feeling that." So I would like for people to understand that, because then that leaves space for the joy to be there as well. When you realize a part of me, only a part of me, is totally sad.
I wrote a book called Finding the Joy in the Journey. And
Mm,
that's how I started on this topic, and that's how I really looked into it and what it came from. The darkest time in my life was my mom, dad, and sister were stage 4 cancer in a year.
mm,
And my sister in 2 months transitioned, leaving behind an 11 and 9-year old, and my whole world blew up as
yes,
I knew it.
yes, yes.
Custody battles, the whole bit. It was just pure chaos. But at one point, probably the worst of points, both my father and my sister were in the hospital. My sister
Hmm.
was days away, and I didn't know it at the time, but was that bad off. It was
Yes.
horrible. And I couldn't even get to my dad. They were just, and everything was in
Mm,
different states. And I can remember, as bad as it was, I had moments that I felt joy. There were
yes.
moments that I forgot to be sad, and I'd see children playing on the side of the road and I'd laugh.
Hmm.
Or
Hmm.
something would come up and I experienced, even for a moment, joy. And it
Yes.
dawned on me,
Yes.
and I'm like, what's wrong with me? I almost tried to push away any kind of good, because
Yes.
we're conditioned to think, well, I can't be happy now. There's so much bad. But it really struck me, and I had a conversation with someone, and I said, if it's available to me now, then it will always be available.
Mm, it's
So if
always.
in my darkest moment, it can be here.
Mm,
It
yeah.
can always be here. And those seeds were planted and became the show. And I had a
Mhm.
radio show before it, and that book.
Yes. 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 Uh, Gina, that is such a truth that you say about being in joy when there's so much sadness. I've had clients that feel really guilty, but they had those moments of laughter when their mother was lay dying. Um, I want to just put it in perspective for you. I've been at the bedside after someone has transitioned. The family's there, and yes, it's a shock. It's sad. There's so much sadness, and there's tears, and this never fails to happen. Someone will start to say, "Remember when Dad did whatever? Remember when Mom baked that cake and it fell?" Then there's joy too. So that shows you that affirms for you that it is okay to have that joy right along with that sadness.
It's
And
important.
yes, and I think when I talk about grief needing to be validated, but people just need that validated. They just need to know. And it's like the lights coming on in a big building at night. One light comes on, another light comes on until we're fully illuminated around this idea that grief becomes a big people.
It's powerful. And
Yeah.
we also can, it's important to remember that grief covers all kinds of topics, from the loss of a pet to the loss of mobility. When you're getting older and you can't do what you used to do. Not that I'm claiming that, but I'm saying there are plenty of people that experience not being who they were at 10 or 12 or 20. And it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with that. It just means that this is a new perspective. You're at a different, when you are at 10 feet high, you see certain things. And when you're at, 110 feet, you see other things.
Right.
That's what we have, with perspective of age as well.
Right.
We're not meant to do the things necessarily that 10 that we do at, 50, 60, 70.
Yes, yes. Let's keep the 70s in there too. 80s even.
Exactly. I know people in their 80s that do a heck of a lot more than I do. So it's not an age thing. It's about wherever we are. It's loving who and where we are.
Yes, yes, yes. I mean, I can't jump the double dutch anymore, but I can surely enjoy watching those people jump double dutch.
So Zoe is here with us, and he's our fellow host, and he's also on our prayer team. He hosts the show. I believe it's on Thursdays now.
Yeah, Thursdays.
Yep,
at 11 Pacific time.
And his comment is, what doesn't feel good or pleasant is not necessarily wrong or something to turn away from. Very true. Adversity need not be damaging. It can promote growth and open us to new perspectives.
I love that. Love that.
Beautiful. And I would never have gone to ministerial school if it wasn't for the worst things in my life. If I had not been diagnosed and gone through 2 major cancer surgeries that knocked me on that I couldn't physically do what I used to do, there'd have been no way that I could have been still enough to know. And yet, from the moment that I started ministerial school, all that angst of I should have, would have, could have already went away. So I found my purpose through my pain.
Exactly. And I just want to add, finding purpose through pain. And I so enjoyed Zoe's program on aging and not letting that be a limitation as well. I remember when I was in nursing school and I was, I guess, late 20s. Yeah, I was in my 20s. And I remember there was a woman that was 65 that was in my nursing class. And I thought, oh my goodness, at 65, it was unbelievable. But fast forward, I decided to really do an intense study of life coaching. And what was I? Almost 65. So that doesn't have to define us or stop us.
Every day is an opportunity for a new beginning. Yes. And whatever that calling is, it can change. Just like life partners, sometimes those change. And it doesn't mean that we chose the wrong one. It just means the one that was right at the time may not still be. And it's not, there's no wrong turn. There's no destination.
Right.
When I love the thought of, the analogy of climbing the mountain, because there's nowhere that's bad. There's a different view everywhere we go, but it's all beauty.
Yes.
It's just a question of where do I choose to be?
Thanks for that reminder. There's no bad part of the journey. Just a different view.
And sometimes we may experience stuckness. But
Hmm.
that may just be the universe setting us up for our breakthrough.
Wow. Yeah, Gina, let me just touch on this for a minute. Um, After we moved to Ireland, I kept telling friends that I was having a dark night of the soul.
Mhm.
It was one of those times, I don't care what I did, things that I used to do suddenly did not bring the same joy. I couldn't find it. Um, I didn't take to the covers or anything of that nature. Nothing that dramatic. I just kept going. I just kept moving, but I did continue to verbalize that I really felt like I was going through a dark night of the soul. And one friend was saying, "Well, are you sure, Bonnie?" She says, "Because when one is going through a dark night of the soul, it's a process. It's like being in that chrysalis, like the caterpillar. I call it a holy chrysalis. And it's like you are morphing, I'll just say it this way, morphing into your next to be, elevating your level of consciousness, coming to a new understanding of whatever your spiritual philosophy is, whatever your path is, that's what's going on through Dark Night of the Soul. I didn't disagree with I just listened. And I thought, whatever. I just think I've got deep depression. But anyway, but it was so true, Gina. Now I'm on the other side of that, and life could not be more exciting and brilliant, vibrant, pulsating with possibilities and opportunities that have presented themselves, that have never presented themselves before. And if they had presented themselves before, I was not at a place to accept it. I was too ruled by insecurity, self-doubt, I believe. I mean, this is hindsight's 2020.
It certainly
And
is.
yes, and as Rumi says, it was definitely clearing me out for a new delight. Clearing me out for a new delight. So,
A friend calls it the hallway. Sometimes it feels like you're in the hallway and
and
you
all
can't, there's not just one door, but there's the right door. And we can try to push our way in to something that isn't, but it's simply allowing what needs to be to find its way. And
uh,
we do the next right thing, and it's not comfortable. It's not supposed to be. You're birthing the next part of life. It's not
exactly.
supposed to be. Our society, that's one of the things that I think. At what point were you raised to say, did anybody in your life ever tell you you're going to be happy every day of your life and you're not going to find, there'll be no problems? On this flight, there's not going to be turbulence. It's going to be a smooth sailing ride. You will always be joyful. The music, the temperature, the flight, movie will be exactly what you want.
I didn't get the memo. I
No,
didn't get
it
that memo.
doesn't work. And no one raised us to believe that. Yet we have a society that thinks we're
Mhm.
always supposed to be comfortable. And we are always, if I buy the next thing and the next thing, and I'll be the first to say, I'm a collector and I gather too much, and I'm learning how to let go, and it's a process.
Oh,
It's just, but it's really being in a place that it's not about right or wrong.
mm,
It's change for a lot of people is extremely uncomfortable.
it's extremely uncomfortable. It's extremely painful. And what I would offer to say moving through anything like this, or any of these losses and any part of grief, and being in the hallway, Gina, I love that. I felt like I was in that hallway, but all the doors were bolted shut. I couldn't get one open. But what I was going to say, for me, I find the key, and this is what I talk with my clients about anytime I'm speaking on grief. You cannot do it alone. You cannot do it alone. I think Bell Hooks says it best that we can't heal from grief in isolation. We really cannot do it alone. So it's shows like this listening, your doer for grief, our friend Zoe. We need dialogue. We need places to go. To
It's normal. It is normal. It's not comfortable, but it's normal. And
that.
it's okay. And we're here to tell you you will absolutely make it through. Just keep. I love one of my mottos. It's from like Finding Nemo. Just keep swimming. Just keep
Oh,
swimming. Just keep swimming. You know, and
it's true.
I do. I really do. I say that. Just keep swimming.
Just
Just
keep
keep
swimming.
swimming. You
Well,
know.
here's mine, Gina. Mine is this. It was a minister that said this. If you're going through hell, just keep driving. Don't stop and buy a condo and take up residency
Yes.
there. Just keep driving. So I love that. Just keep swimming.
Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming, and
Yes.
you will get there. And you know, and the beauty to me is faith is the life raft.
Hmm.
When you cannot, in the moment that you're in, when you're just done, you fall on your faith, you close your eyes and go to sleep.
Yeah.
If there's nothing else you can do that's productive, do that.
Take a nap.
Oh, and if you need to yell, scream, I mean, I've ranted at spirit many a time. And the truth is, spirit can handle it. It's not sacrilegious to say how you feel. You think spirit doesn't know? You know,
Mhm.
I know God in me, as me is me. Therefore,
Yes.
whatever I'm thinking, spirit's got it.
Yes.
So
Yes.
if verbalizing it helps me to get it out so it doesn't have to stay stuck, then do it. Whatever is going to keep you moving through the process.
Hmm.
And
And
that's
yeah, and I was going to say in my Buddhist practice, it was really big on if you're going through something, if you're going through a difficult time, having a really negative experience, just know that one day you will be able to encourage another person that will be going through the very same thing, and that I can truly attest to. I can truly attest to that. We are all in this together.
you know we are, and the gift of being in a spiritual community is that there's a greater feeling of that. I
Mm,
I love spiritual community. From the day that I walked into my first CSL, which for me was Concordia in Rhode Island, and it just felt like, whoa, this is different.
hmm.
Everyone looked however they looked, and love was love. And
Yes.
that was the beginning of it. And I was like, wow, this is different.
Yes.
And the music that was sung, the words that were spoken, it was different.
Hmm.
So find yourself a tribe.
Ah,
Find your tribe that speaks the language that you want to speak.
mm,
That actually exudes the love that you are and want to experience. And if you
mm,
haven't found it yet, keep looking. And it
yes.
might be this network because we are here live on with shows all day long.
So many
So
options.
we are here to be that. We are a community.
Yes. And a welcoming and embracing community.
Sunday we have 5 or 6 different spiritual services, so you can get your full of message all week long.
Uh,
You know, there's so much good to
mm,
experience, but when you're caught in that, being caught in grief, which we all have been, it's
mhm,
like being underwater and trying to run.
mm,
Which we're all trying to get out of the pool, but the truth is, sometimes it takes what it takes to wade and be there, so that when we do raise ourselves up out of it, or are spiritually lifted out of that divine grace that can lift us if we allow it,
mm,
we
mm.
are different on the other side.
Well, thank you. Gina, you must be, you have deeper insight. I was just going to ask the question, do you feel that? Or how do you um, share this with people that don't have a spiritual practice? And you were just saying about finding your tribe. And that's, yeah,
Everything's a spiritual practice.
yes.
Everything is a spiritual practice if we allow it to be. Just being out in the sunlight and looking up and feeling that sunlight, that spirit.
Mm,
Whatever makes you smile, whatever, living your purpose. That's spirit. So whatever it is, and I want to, on that note, before, because time's flying by, we're
Uh-oh.
going to go
Oh my,
into it moves so fast.
oh, I know what happened.
We are going to talk about that aspect of things now. This wonderful, fun part of what you do
Oh my
that we're
goodness.
going to talk about, and we're going to play a quick video because you do soul collage workshops, and
Yes.
we're going to talk about those.
Okay, and before you play it, Gina, I just want to say that I work really hard. I really work hard. It's a very, serious subject content, but I play even harder. Now you can move on to the video.
Well, this is a wonderful practice that I know through your coaching that you do, and
Yeah.
there's workshops, and I know that there's actually an event coming up for this, and it's
Yeah.
in Mexico. So people can reach out to you and find out where it is on August 2nd. It's a
Yeah.
convention August 2nd through the 8th that people can go to if they still want to take a quick, if they want to take a trip down to Mexico.
Mexico, come on down. We'll be doing soul collage.
And you'll also be doing it virtually in October.
Yes,
So we'll have to talk about it again before then. But I'd love for people to just a few minute video to tell people a little bit more about it.
Yes.
Soul Collage is a journey home to yourself. It's an intuitive process that uses the power of images. Images has the power to unlock our inner wisdom. The process of soul collage is very simple, very easy. You just sit and you look at images. You let images select you. You select an image that you say, wow, why do I like that? Put it aside. Or you could take an image that just repulses you in some way. Set it aside. Then you come back after you've collected your images and you put them together. You make a small collage card, 5 by 8, and then you journal to that card. You jump into that image. You let that image speak to you. That's your inner wisdom that's guiding you. This card has the image of a woman with an owl. I selected that woman because I was so drawn into the expression on her face. It somehow just spoke to me. Something about the owl with its wing out. And when I put them together, it just felt so right. It like clicked. I didn't know why. But when I journaled to the card is when she spoke to me, saying, this is how I'm living, out of desperation, out of fear. And the owl was there as, wow, I have a protector. I could feel it on my own heart at the time when I journaled to it. And I suddenly felt like, yes, I'm living in desperation, but there's some sense of protection. After looking at this card for several weeks, one morning she spoke to me with a different voice. She says, I am living in gratitude. I have such protection. I no longer have worries or fears because I am so protected and my life is filled with abundance. If you're stuck with life decisions, if you are dealing with loss, if there are changes that you want to make in your life and you just don't know where to turn and where to go, give Soul Collage a try. You'll be amazed at the process of coming home to yourself.
And we just want to say Alan Cash, shout out to him. AlanCashVideos.com helped you with that, which is wonderful. And that is beautiful. And I love coming home to yourself. What a beautiful gift that is.
Yeah. What I have said about soul collage, Gina, not only coming home to myself, but soul collage has just healed me in places that I didn't know. as that one, that feeling of living in desperation. I didn't even, I wasn't even to verbalize that or have the language for that. And that is the power of an image. And that's the key to soul collage. There's only three magical eyes: imagination, images, and your intuition. That's all you need, and some older magazines is what I say. But images have a way of just pushing a button. You'll see an image and it can stop you or repel you without even having your sensors up. Like, ooh, how did that happen? So for me, I should say this, that Soul Collage was started by a psychotherapist named Sina Frost, who is now the late Sina Frost. But she found that images in her psychotherapy practice, that she could offer a client an image, and the image could evoke more emotion, more a dialogue than she'd say even years of talk therapy, and that they could look at an image and be able to express some deep emotions. So she just started using it with her clients. Then she shared that information with her colleagues, and then her colleagues started using it with their clients. And then she started just having soul collage, so having people come in and just sit and make cards, just sit and look at images and make cards. And in Soul Collage, though, I will say this: Soul Collage separates spirit and soul. In Soul Collage, the idea is that the spirit wants to ascend and be one with God, the universe, the cosmos. That is the spirit's deepest desire. But the soul loves that down and dirty, and let's dance, let's have fun. There's sex, there's music, there's sadness. Our souls want to experience life, and that is what Soul Collage is speaking to, that part of you that is experiencing life. And you can just get such beautiful messages. I invite people, just even today, just take just get a magazine, or it doesn't even have to be a magazine, but something that has an image that suddenly you look at and say, and look at that image and allow yourself to imagine what that image is saying. Like if I'm looking at a bird, like, wow, I feel some lightness of spirit. I feel some freedom. Oh, as I love this term, birds are not afraid of the void. It's like, you're not afraid of the void. Just be in curiosity as to what an image can say to you and bring up.
And it definitely does. And I was saying, it reminded me of, because as a life coach, one of the workshops I do is vision boards.
Oh,
So
that's
I'm like, to me, this is a vision board for your soul. It
right.
gives an opportunity of, there's something that it triggers an emotion within us. And sometimes that's good. It's a joyful one. Sometimes it's not. We have, I personally, when I treat, will often talk about the weeds of doubt, fears, insecurities. Those are weeds that we need to pluck out. And those negative emotions are often from things that are in our subconscious we don't know about. So
Exactly.
when we are seeing these pictures that are triggering things within us, it gives us an opportunity to be aware of what weeds to pluck.
Yes. I was just thinking of one card that I made. I don't have it with me, but it was here. I was doing when I do a soul collage workshop, I usually have a theme, and you can follow the theme. I can give you a theme, but whatever card needs to be made for you will be made. But I was doing one on fear, and I made a card that had this tiger that was growling like in the face, and I put this growling tiger, and then I put a goddess that he was growling at this goddess. And my idea as I was making it, it's like, oh, what dispels fear? So I made the card, the growling tiger, the goddess there. And when I went to journal with it, this is how beautiful oh, your third eye or your intuition, your mind is. I didn't notice that the tiger's teeth were falling, that there was really nothing to fear. The teeth were actually falling out. He was growling at the goddess, but she wasn't in fear. It was like that image neutralized that tiger. And for me, that was really about how much power I give people. And that was what moved me from, oh, well, there's really nothing to fear around this situation that I had done my part with. But that's the power of an image. That's the power of an image. And as you know, with the envision boards, the other part of the image is that images have a way of foretelling the future of what is to come into our life. So,
Well, we're choosing a destination. When and I love the visioning process. My center does it every week. It's literally asking spirit to direct and
yeah.
say, okay, so what's the highest vision? Not
Mhm.
what's my idea, what is my small ego, often ego driven presence, want, quote unquote. But
Yes.
what is spirit's vision for this? And
Mhm.
I have done that process with people that were thinking about retirement, whether or not they should or shouldn't.
Mhm.
I've done that process with people about work, whether or not they should stay at a job or look for something else.
Yes.
So it's really being at a place of, like you said, it's imagination, images, imagination, and intuition.
Intuition and the trees.
And and that is really what even visioning is about. So it's
Mhm.
coming to a place of allowing. And your workshop sounds wonderful. And again, I want to just make sure people know that they can how to get in touch with you. So
Yes.
we are here with the wonderful Bonnie Gonzalez, and she has a couple of websites. One is bonniegonzalez.com. The other is yourdoulaforgrief.com. And of course,
Yes.
this is her email so that people can reach out to you, because you do have one in early October that is going to be virtual. And I'm sure on your show and on your page that you'll have that. But I just want
Yes.
to make sure people know how to reach you for coaching or whatever
Yes.
they may need. And you have your show that is on
Oh,
Mondays. I want to make sure people know your doula for grief is on
oh,
every Monday, and that's 1 p.m. Mountain Time, 2 p.m. Central Time where you are, Bonnie,
yeah, it's simple time.
and I'm 3 p.m. here in Rhode Island. So it's
Uh,
wherever you are, make sure realize that there are the past episodes of all of these things are available to you as well. One
uh,
of the beauties of this network is that we get to celebrate it whenever we need it. It's always there.
yes, yes,
And this is where you're going to be the light. You are going to be a keynote speaker here, and
yes.
that is in Mexico.
In Chapala, Mexico. Lake Chapala, it's quite popular. Large expat community not too far from where we are.
Beautiful.
Most people know Ajijic, maybe. But
Okay.
anyway, beautiful. The lake is just and the hotel that's hosting the event is right on the lake. Just beautiful setting. And this hotel has something I've never seen. Tell me if you have. They have beautiful peacocks, but they have albino peacocks.
I
Why?
have I have heard of that, and I know of a different retreat center that has one as well. I think it was Kripalu that has one white
Oh,
walking around the center. So yes, or no, it wasn't. It was actually there was a petting zoo around here. That's what it
oh
was.
my gosh.
Southwick Zoo that actually had one albino peacock walking around. That's what it is. And it's just free and walking around. Like, clearly they're not worried about it going anywhere. But it was just, you know,
Yes.
that
And
is life, isn't it? That beauty, that
oh, yeah. Someone just said to me the other day that beauty is not just there to be there, that beauty is vital to our existence. Beauty is vital to our existence.
we
And
are beauty.
yes,
Just like we are joy, love,
yes,
peace, the the experience of spirit within us is there, and when we see it, we know it. Just like I know your light because it shines and radiates, and it is because of the light within me that sees it, and we know that for each one. And
Yes.
I can't believe it's already an hour and that we've been through
Well,
all of this.
I
So
just want to invite people to have joy, have fun with Soul Collage. It could be like a quilting bee. What's the other thing? A canning circle. You just get together with folks and you chit chat, and before you know it, you've made some beautiful, beautiful life affirming cards, life affirming, life answering cards. So just you owe it. You owe it to yourself. You are worthy of it. You are so worthy of the feeling.
and it's being willing to go deep.
Mm,
Jump in, the water's fine.
yes. Well,
Jump in, the water's fine. And if you're worried about it, or you can't get it wrong, but if you're feeling like you are, reach out and ask, because there are plenty of people that are willing to direct you to the help you need, but also realize that here on this network, we have an entire team of practitioners, and practitioners and ministers that are all here for you. So
yes.
prayer, it's really an important thing to remember that we get the opportunity. It's prayer at ntmedia.org. Again,
Mm,
it's prayer at ntmedia.org, and you get the opportunity. Any email goes to an entire team that's here to know your truth. So,
mm.
you
Yes.
know, it's just been a pleasure to be here
Yeah,
with you.
I just wanted to add just that you were just talking about being in joy, and I was going to say doing soul collage is just like psychotherapy, but without the pain, filled with joy. I just wanted to put that plug in that it is joy, that it is fun. It is absolutely fun. So,
We know that it doesn't have to be hard work.
no.
Nothing has to be. Those are stories we were told. Let it flow. Let spirit do it. When we are in the flow and we let the law do what it does, it's a joyful journey.
Oh,
So thank you for being here with us. And people can reach out to me. I'd love to hear your ideas. Please reach out to me anytime. You can reach me, and know that either at that email address, if I believe in you today.com, or you can reach me at Gina at cslboston.org. And
okay.
just know that I want to hear from you, and let me know if there's topics you want to cover, guests that you can want to suggest, whatever it may be. And know that this network is here because of people like you.
Yeah.
We are here because of your kind, generosity. So go to ntmedia.org, click the donate button, and know that what you're doing is giving people the opportunity to hear that good news all over the world. So thank you, Bonnie, for being here with us. Thank you for sharing your light and your love with the world. And we will definitely do this again.
Yes, yes. Sending you much love, Gina. Much love and gratitude. Thank you. I appreciate what you're doing. Thank you so much.
Have a beautiful week, everyone. Blessings and love.
Okay, ciao.